Hello, everyone. I hope you are all doing well and ready for another exciting meeting at the Future Leaders Gavel Club. My name is Angelina, and it is an honor to be your interim club president today, and I would officially like to call this meeting to order. I would like to extend a warm welcome to all our guests, and we sincerely hope you will enjoy and learn from this experience. The Future Leaders Gavel Club is a Toastmasters club open to middle and high school students, in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Each meeting has three parts. The first part of our meeting is the prepared speech section, in which members take the time to prepare a speech and deliver it to the club. The second part of our meeting is the table topic session, where members and guests can participate to practice and improve their impromptu speaking skills by answering questions given by the table topics master with 1 to 2 minute responses. The final part of our meeting is the evaluation portion, where speech evaluators provide feedback on the prepared speeches. Additionally, the functionaries will deliver their reports to help everyone enhance their public speaking skills. So to start our meeting tonight, I would like to introduce our Toastmaster of the night, Michelle, who will be guiding us through each segment. So Michelle, take it away.
Thank you, Vice President Angelina. And let's start off by introducing the functionaries first. So for all counter to today we have I don't think Alex is here, right? Okay, so we might have to change that. Who would like want to be the all counter for this meeting?
And also, if anyone here is a guest or a new member, we also encourage you to try out some of the roles. And we can send a description of the role in the chat if you want to try it.
If no one wants to be all counter, that's fine. I can be all counter. Okay, so let me pull up it because I don't really have it right now. Hmm. As an odd counter, I will be noting words that are and sounds that are used as crutch or pause fillers by anyone. Some inappropriate interjections could be such as and, well, but, so, sounds that might be and that's all for all counter, I believe. Next, we have the grammarian, which is Kara, so take it away.
As the grammarian, I will listen for the word of the day, which is iniquity. Iniquity means injustice or immoral and unfair behavior. An example of this in a sentence is the use of illegal narcotics is not only a destroyer of personal health, but also an iniquity that undermines our society. I encourage anyone speaking during any part of the meeting to use it. Throughout the meeting, I will listen to everyone's word usage and write down any awkward use or misuse of the language. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you, Kara, for that. For that description. And next, we will be having the timer, which is Angelina. So take it away.
Thank you, Michelle. So as the timer, I will be timing all of the responses that are given throughout the meeting for anyone who speaks. So at the minimum required time, I will show a green background. At the middle of the required time, I'll show a yellow background. And if you hit the maximum time or go over time, then I'll show a red background. Thank you, and back to you, Michelle.
Alrighty, thank you, Angelina. And now, as general evaluator, I will be managing the evaluation portion of the meeting and calling on speech evaluators and the functionaries. And finally, at the end of the meeting, I will provide the evaluation portion of the meeting. I'll be providing a evaluation of the meeting as a whole. And now that we've gotten over this, I think, are we missing Devin? I think so, right?
Yeah, so do any of our guests or new members want to try out this role? The role he had was the speech one evaluator, so you'll be evaluating the first speech.
Angelina, sorry to cut you off, but I think Devin just joined, so
Okay,
that's okay now. Okay, so let me see. Okay, so now we can start off with our first speech or speaker of the day, which is Eliana. So, Eliana, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Michelle. Hello, my name is Eliana, and I will be telling you a story about the first and only time I tried selling lemonade. 2 summers ago, I attended a 5-day entrepreneurship camp. I learned about things like revenue, cost, profit, and how to set good prices. After that, it was time to put those lessons into practice. The teachers split us into 4 different teams and told us to create lemonade businesses to sell to college students. I was on a team with 4 other girls, and since I was the oldest, I ended up leading the team. The way it worked was the teachers loaned us ingredients and supplies, then afterwards we would pay them back. So we borrowed water, lemonade powder, which was totally artificial, and cups. One of the girls on my team came up with a genius idea that I will talk about later. We made 4 huge bottles of lemonade, designed our shop poster, and named our business Sunrise Lemonade. When creating our prices, we spied on the other teams to make sure ours was just 25 cents lower than their prices. But of course, as we had learned earlier, we couldn't make the prices too low, otherwise we could go into a deficit. We settled on $1.25 per cup. After finishing our poster, we piled everything into our wagon and excitedly pulled it over to the Japanese rose garden nearby to set up shop. Then we started hollering, "Lemonade! Lemonade! Get your lemonade here!" We kept shouting so loudly that the people in the garden, who were trying to study peacefully, had to tell us to be quieter. We made them promise to come buy lemonade once they finished studying, of course. However, after 15 minutes or so of yelling our heads off, we still had only a few customers. Most people we shouted at apologized that they were late for class or just plain ignored us since they were staring at their phones. We were starting to lose hope and becoming hoarse because we hadn't made much money yet. But suddenly, the building next to us let out, and huge crowds of students came out, wanting to buy some of our cool, delicious lemonade. We went from a forlorn little stand to a booming business with a huge long line out the back. Our 2 products were lemonade and strawberry lemonade. How do we get strawberry lemonade, you may ask? Well, the girl on my team spotted red food coloring in our classroom, and we found that if we added 1 small drop to the lemonade, it would turn pink. We didn't tell our customers that, of course. Instead, we charged them 25 cents more for the strawberry version. And maybe there really is something psychological about pink, because one of our customers bought both flavors, tasted them, and concluded that the strawberry one was sweeter. We didn't really feel the need to correct him. We cheered so enthusiastically every time someone bought something or put money in our tip jar that one person even put an entire $5 bill inside, just to make us happy. And when people gave us too much money, I, the designated banker, took so long to calculate the change that most people just said, "Keep the change." By the end of the day, we had made over $35. We headed back to our classroom, our money box and tip jar full, and after paying the teachers back for the lemonade, cups, and food coloring, we still had $25 left, more than any other team. Even though one of the teams had actually sold more cups of lemonade than us, they did not have a tip jar. That meant that most of our revenue was actually from the tips. I learned 2 things that day. Never give up trying, even if it isn't working at first, and always have a tip jar at your table when trying to sell lemonade. Thank you, and back to you.
Thank you, Eliana, for that speech. I'm sure everyone loved their Timu strawberry lemonade. Next, we will be having Rachel speak. So the floor is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster Michelle. Good evening, future leaders. Now that school is out and summer's here, there are a lot of exciting things to think about. You've probably already gone on at least one trip or done at least one exciting thing since school got out. When school gets out, there's no more homework, more time off for yourself to take trips or just relax at home, because after a difficult school year, we really all need that. But summer may also be a time where we think about everything that's going to happen in the next coming year. This is especially true for me as a high school graduate because I'm going off to college next fall and that'll be a bit of a difficult adjustment. My priority this summer is having the best time I possibly can. I might even do a bucket list of all the things I want to do before everything in my life changes. With so much going on in the future, it's easy to worry about what's going to happen, and if we're even ready for what's ahead. I unfortunately fall prey to worrying maybe a bit too easily. I'm generally very happy and enjoy my life, but my anxiety sometimes gets the better of me. I will be honest that I spend a lot of my time worrying about the future when I should be instead enjoying the present. And I know I'll miss the joy of the present if I worry about the future too much. Lately, I've been reminding myself that it's important to take things as they come. I've learned that you were always ready for things when the time comes. Graduation was a bittersweet event because I was leaving a school I'd been attending for over a decade, but I knew I was going to be ready to graduate when it happened, and I was. I worry now that I'm not ready to go off to college. But I realize that I don't need to be ready for college right now because I still have 2 more months before I go to college. I know I'll be ready to go to college when it's time because I would have gained more skills that relate to independence over the summer, and that is something I will do over the course of 2 months. So I'll be ready in 2 months, but I don't need to be ready now. So much happens in everyday life that we need to prepare for. But it's more important to focus on immediate needs than to worry about ones that will come after. For example, when during the school year, if you have a test the next day, it's more important to worry about the test the next day than the trip you need to take a week later. In regards to not worrying about future problems or being ready for future events, there's a verse in the Bible that I love, and it's pretty relevant to my message. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. Matthew 6:34. My mom always reminds me of this verse whenever I get worked up, and whenever I start worrying about the future, I remind myself of this verse as well. Sometimes we don't feel ready for what's coming, but getting ready for the future is a constant and gradual process. Everything happens when it's supposed to in its own time. The message I want to leave you all with tonight is that what happens in the future is inevitable, but we don't need to worry about it in the present. We also don't need to worry about being ready for the future, because even if we don't feel ready now, we'll be ready in the future when the future becomes the present. You don't need to be ready early. You're always ready when the time comes. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel, for the touching speech. And now we will be heading to the table topics portion of our meeting, which is being led by Kara. So take it away.
Hello, everybody. Today, I would like to introduce a new section for table topics, and this will be called Devil's Advocate. Basically, you will be asked to argue for something that you maybe don't personally agree with. And this is something, a kind of psychological tactic that can be really helpful in the real world because it can help you gain a more thorough understanding of a complex topic, empathy for someone you disagree with, or it can also help you find weaknesses in a belief that might be commonly accepted. And all of this can combat ignorance and contribute to preventing inequity from us as individuals. But since doing this for more complex topics usually requires some research and time, today I'll be asking you all questions on more silly topics that you will have to answer as the devil's advocate on. So my first question will be for Howard. Howard, are ghosts real? And whatever your opinion is, try to convince me of the opposite.
So, in my opinion, ghosts, in fact, are real, but I'm going to try to convince you that ghosts, in fact, are not real. First of all, take a look at the evidence. You say, oh, there's always a ghost around. They're going to kill us someday in bed. Can you please give me a couple examples of when that's ever happened? Ghosts, there has been very few amounts of proof that in fact ghosts are real. Take a profession called the ghost hunters. They hunt ghosts for a living. It will actually shock you that most ghost hunters are unemployed and in poverty due to the fact that they cannot achieve the results the public wishes them to do. Ghosts, so far, are not real. Unless us humans are so incompetent that we cannot detect murders in our own houses, I do not think ghosts will be appearing anytime soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Howard, for that creative and convincing answer. Selena, can think of your least favorite movie and try to convince me that it is a cinematic masterpiece.
Well, this is actually really hard because because I don't think I've ever watched a movie that I don't like, but I'm gonna think. Okay. Cinderella is one of the biggest and best cinematic movies ever. It's a complete classic, and even though it's very straightforward and you can predict exactly what is happening, that just adds to the fun of it. Remember, this movie is for kids. Kids don't like surprises, so it's perfect for the genre. Disney made a great job of making the characters fun, realistic, and possible. They also have an aspect of what is evil and what is bad, what is evil, what is good, to help kids and guide them on the right path. This is perfect for most kids. It's a classic, it's a favorite, and it's one of the best fables that were ever created. The movie on it is so much better than the fable. The movie Cinderella is about a girl who is mistreated inequitably by her stepmother. She's treated less great than her stepsisters, which just shouldn't be real. As you can probably not guess, she somehow finds her way to a prince and gets, because of a magical godmother that comes out of nowhere, which just shows that there is a little bit of surprise in Disney, comes out of nowhere, makes her a ball gown, perfect hair, glass slippers that are supposed to fit her perfectly, and then she gets to go to meet the prince. They fall in love, but she has to hurry too late for her ball gown and all her masterpieces will disappear by midnight. But as she's going, tragedy strikes. She somehow leaves the glass slipper that's supposed to fit her perfectly on the stairs and goes back. As you can probably guess, the prince goes looking everywhere and finally finds her. It's a happily ever after, a perfect fairy tale, and a perfect cinematic movie.
Thank you, Selena, for that very well-constructed response. And my next question will be for Jacob. Jacob, think of your least favorite school subject and tell me why you love it.
Wait, my least favorite or most favorite?
Your least favorite, and even if you don't actually like it, just try to argue that it is good.
Okay. My least favorite subject would be reading. And reading would be good because many people can benefit from them. One example is they can benefit in grammar and talking and speaking and and changing us and thinking about a selection of words. I think reading can help because it can help us through everyday lives and it can help us read and understand others when they aren't there. Reading may also help us socialize when 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 on our phones too. For example, if you have a friend who moved away, then you can still text him and write and read, which can still be beneficial. Thank you. Back to you, Kara.
Thank you so much, Jacob. And I'm kind of sad that you don't like reading. But anyway, my fourth question will be for Amelia. And the question is, think of a really commonplace food item that you like, such as bread or eggs, etc., and try to convince us that we should eradicate it completely from our diets.
Pickles are really good, but pickles are really hard to make sometimes because you gotta use cucumbers and then finish. I think that you gotta add water and then some things to it. Pickles are also really sour, very bad sometimes, and pickles taste terrible with hamburgers. And pickles are very nasty to eat sometimes because juice comes out everywhere. Pickles are very bad, ugly, and kind of gross to eat. Pickles have that crunchy taste, but it's not really like that crunchy, and it's not really like that taste. It's not really that good crunchy taste that you like about it. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Amelia. And my next question is going to be for Hillary. Hillary, think of your least favorite book and convince me that it is a literary masterpiece.
Take me a while. I'm not sure what my least favorite book is.
Okay, would you like a different question?
Yes, please.
Okay, then think about whether you like dogs or cats more, and then try to convince me that the other pet is a better one to get.
Okay, I like both, so this shouldn't be too bad. Dogs or cats? This is one of the biggest pet debates of all time. On one hand, we have dogs, amazingly social and friendly. On the other hand, we have cats, who will ignore you unless it's time for food. Can you guess which one would make the better pet? Dogs are social. How many stories have you heard of dogs coming to the rescue, saving their owners from robbers? What about cats? None? Yeah, I didn't think so. Dogs are also extremely friendly. And cats pick one person, and if you're not that person, they will ignore you, or even worse, attack you. And that's it. Thank you, and back to you, Kara.
Thank you so much, Hillary. And my next question will be for, hold on, for, sorry, Devin. Devin, my question is just going to be the book question again. So think of your least favorite book and convince me that it is the best book ever.
My answer might hurt a lot of you here. My least favorite book is Harry Potter. I'm sorry, Harry Potter fan, but I just don't like it. When I'm a few years old, I first read Harry Potter and I just don't like it. I don't like a lot of story that add magic and those types of masterpiece. And I mean, it's a fun story to read, but a lot of details makes it like too unreliable and unreal, which I just discuss of it. And some of the parts, like when Harry, in the end, when Harry killed Voldemort, I feel like it's too quick, and maybe I'm young. I didn't really understand some of the parts, which is just sad, and I just don't like it. Thank you, and back to you, Kara.
Thank you, Devin. And it's unfortunate that you didn't like Harry Potter. I know that a lot of people really like it, and I too really liked it for a while. But my next question will be for Andrew. And the question is, now we're going to be moving on to another section, which will be a section called Stupid Internet Debates. And so it's going to be about popular debates that you might have heard of before, but I want you to put in full effort to make a very robust and coherent argument, because that's kind of where the humor comes from. So for my first question, Andrew, is water wet?
Water is wet because water is both cohesive and adhesive. Because the opposing side of this argument says that water is not wet only when it touches something is it wet. That means the water has to be adhesive and basically get stuck to your clothes. But water also gets stuck to each other. So technically, it's also in the state of wet because it's stuck to something. And also, water itself causes wetness. So that means the thing that causes wetness should also be wet if everything else checks out. And also, the people who think water is not wet, they're like, oh, water is just, let me see, water is just a water, okay? And it isn't wet. But, okay, pretend you touch the water, your hand gets wet, right? But water itself, what if it's already wet and you just can't see that it's any different because it's just water? Water is always wet, so you can't compare it to when it's dry. Dry water is nothing, so there's nothing to compare wet water to dry water to. So even if it was dry and not wet, there will be no way to actually determine whether it would be because there's nothing else to compare it to.
Thank you, Andrew. That was a very impressive response, and I could tell you had that ready. So the next question will be for Anthony, and the question is ketchup a smoothie?
What?
Please try and answer the question, is ketchup a smoothie?
Is ketchup a smoothie? Personally, I think ketchup should be a smoothie, since a smoothie is I should say, a half solid, a slushy kind of material. And as you can see, most condiments are a mixture of multiple things blended together, like ketchup with like over half of the bottle of sugar and other ingredients like tomatoes. So, um, so ketchup should be a smoothie. But sometimes, the super watery ones I'll consider as a not a smoothie, since it just has personally smoothies to me have a thicker texture than actual like non-smoothie things. So yeah.
Thank you, Anthony. And I don't know if many people would agree with that. Moving on, my next question is what is the right way for a dog to wear pants? And this question will be for Rachel.
Doesn't everyone know that dogs should be wearing pants? Pants are not optional for dogs. Dogs should wear pants, but not where we might think they should wear them. I know everyone would think, oh, dogs just need to wear pants on their back legs, but the dog body is a bit different from the human body. We do not have four legs, but dogs do. We don't wear pants on our arms, but dogs don't really have arms. They have front legs. So if dogs wore pants, which they should, I don't know why they get out of wearing pants. They need to wear one pair on the front and one pair on the back. The back is obvious because, well, for obvious reasons, but the front is important too. Not only are pants fashionable for dogs to wear, they also protect dogs from getting things in their fur and from getting messy fur. And if dogs wear pants more, we won't need to brush their fur as much anymore. And it might be difficult for dogs to keep their pants on in the front, but there are designers that design dog pants that go on the front legs. So there's a Velcro to where the it'll connect like right behind the dog's head. So in conclusion, all dogs should wear pants on both the front legs and the back legs, otherwise it's indecent. And everyone should start getting their dogs pants and putting their dog's pants on the right way. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. And I agree. I don't know why pants for dogs is considered optional. My next question is for Angelina. And the question is, you know those moving images? How do you pronounce the word GIF?
Thank you, Care, for that question. So this is a really controversial topic, and I know people that say GIF, and I also know people that say GIF. So personally, I think, well, originally I thought it was pronounced GIF because obviously the traditional G has a G sound. But after I looked into it for a while, I realized that in some words the G has a different pronunciation where it sounds like the J. And I think in this case, pronouncing it with the J sound like GIF makes the more sense because I just think it makes the most sense. If you pronounce it with the J, it sounds more natural to me. And also, if someone who has never seen the word before, they would probably also pronounce it as GIF. But overall, I think both pronunciations are fine, and I don't know why there's such a big debate over it, but I personally say GIF. So thank you, and back to you, Kara.
Thank you so much, Angelina. My next question will be for, let's go with Michelle. So Michelle, the question is, would a giraffe wear a necktie at the like very top of their very long necks, or at the very bottom? Or maybe in the middle.
Should giraffes wear their ties at the top, the middle, or the bottom? Guys, you have to be an idiot if you don't choose the bottom. Listen, imagine a giraffe wearing a tie at the front. Where have you ever seen a human wearing a tie in the top? Do you see ties defining gravity? Hell no! It's right on the bottom of your neck, right next to your shirt, where it should be, as it should. Sorry. But that's basically all.
Thank you, Michelle, for the passionate answer on that question. And my next question will be for Eliana, and the question is a hot dog a sandwich?
Yes, it is absolutely a sandwich. What is a sandwich? A sandwich is pieces of bread and stuff in the middle. And that's exactly what a hot dog is. There's bread on both sides and sausage and maybe ketchup and mustard in the middle. Therefore, it's a sandwich. It's not much different than any other sandwich that has meat, sauces, and bread. It has the exact same ingredients. So, therefore, a hot dog is definitely a sandwich. Thank you.
Thank you, Eliana. And real quick, is there anybody that I didn't ask a table topics question to? Because I feel like I asked everybody. All right. If not, then I think everybody spoke anyway, and our time is up. So now I will hand it off to the general evaluator, Michelle.
Thank you, Table Topics Master Kara. Okay, let's start it off. For the Speech 1 evaluator, Devin, take it away.
Thank you, General Evaluator Michelle. As today's Evaluator 1, I will provide feedback on Eliana's speech, where you shared your story about selling lemonade. This evaluation will focus on your strengths, suggest areas of improvement, and conclude with 2 challenges you can work on in future speeches. Eliana, your speech provides several strengths that help to its overall effectiveness. Firstly, your speech was engaging, especially when you spoke about the idea of ways of selling lemonade. You used a clear and vivid language, allowing the audience to easily visualize your experience. Additionally, your pacing was well controlled with meaningful pauses that highlighted key moments in your speech. You've included great pauses between long or important sentences, giving the audience time to absorb the information. While your speech was strong, there are still a few areas to improve. One suggestion is to add some essential hand gestures when talking about the key ideas about selling lemonade. For instance, the steps. Also, at a few times, there were short shifts or stops in the speech that could be even smoother with a bit more practice. Sometimes slowing down slightly when gathering your next thoughts would help maintain a better delivery for the audience as well. Finally, I'd like to offer two challenges for you to consider in future speeches. First, try incorporating a final lesson from this experience to build a stronger emotional connection with the audience. Second, add some hand gestures, no matter big or small ones. Overall, this was an impressive and thoughtful speech. I learned a lot about how to sell lemonade and how fun it could be. And personally, I I also not sell like made lemonade for my classmate before. So I know it's pretty fascinating. The techniques and also your techniques and details you shared truly made it more engaging and attractive. Wonderful job. Thank you, and back to General Evaluator Michelle.
Thank you, Devin. And now we will be having the speech two evaluator, Angelina.
Thank you, Michelle. So, as the evaluator for Rachel's speech today, I want to start off by saying congratulations on another great speech. So, to start off, I'll introduce some of the things that you did well, and then I'll give you a few things that you could work on. So, I think that you had a really relevant topic, and as it's summer now, a lot of people are planning what they want to do over the summer. And so, talking about your personal plans for the summer and how you want to grow from those really helps me personally relate to your speech. Also, you had really good pacing throughout your speech. You didn't go too fast or too slow. And I also noticed that you didn't use any filler words at all, which I think is very impressive. I remember when I first saw you speak at when I was a guest at a FLGC meeting, and I remember that you used to struggle with speaking smoothly, but now I've seen that you've improved a lot, and so I think that's a very good thing, and I want to say good job on that too. That's not an easy thing to accomplish. So next, I want to mention a few things that I think you could work on. So I think the main thing is just your gestures. Like I can see you were doing some things under the camera, but your camera was a little bit high. So I would say in the future, if you could maybe step back a little or you could tilt the camera down more. But that's the only thing that I saw really. And I don't have any challenges for you. You stood up and you had good pacing. So that's all I have for you. And congratulations on your graduation as well. Thank you, and back to you, Michelle.
Thank you, Angelina. And next we'll be having the all counter report, which is me. That's fun. Okay, for table topics, oopsies, I mean Toastmaster. From me, I heard two ums and uhs, one repeat, two pauses, and two stutters. For speaker two, Eliana, I heard maybe one pause and one stutter. For Rachel, I heard at least, I don't know, I'm not sure, two pauses and two stutters. For Howard, table topic speaker one, I did not hear anything. For Selena, table topic speaker two, I heard one and three repeats and I think one pause, I believe. For Jacob, I think I heard four ands, three repeats, one pause, and that's all. For tabletop, you know what? I'm not gonna even say it. I'm just gonna say the names. For Amelia, I've heard one and one pause. For Hillary, I've heard one or slash my bad. I think I'm also messing up. And that's all. For Devin, I've heard one and three pauses. For Andrew, I heard one slash wait, oh, I'm reading the wrong one. Gosh, why are they so small? But that's basically all. For Anthony, I heard one and that's all again. For Rachel, I heard one so, two and three pauses and one stutter. Wait, okay, I messed up on that one. But for Angelina, I've heard nothing, I believe. For what is this? Eliana, wait, what? Oh, table topics, my bad, I'm tweaking out. I've heard one like. And for Devin, I've heard two repeats and one stutter. So that should be all. My bad. I'm doing this on the sheets and it's really difficult to read. Okay, so now I will be calling on the grammarian, which is Kira. So take it away.
Thank you so much, Michelle. So for my grammarian role, I feel like I was missing a lot, but I did write down some notes. So for speaker one, Eliana, I really liked when you said we spied on the other teams. It felt very dramatic in a good way. And I liked a lot of the vocabulary you used, such as horse, forlorn, and booming business. One instance of kind of awkward grammar that I noticed was when you said, never give up trying. I feel like never give up is enough, and trying there is just a little bit redundant. But other than that, your grammar was really great and smooth throughout. For Rachel, I liked when you said, I spend a lot of time worrying about the future when I should spend more time living in the present. I really liked the kind of parallel sentence structure. And I also liked the sentence, getting ready for the future is a constant and gradual process. One thing I noticed was you said when during the school year at one point, which wouldn't be correct grammar. For table topic speaker one, Howard, I liked that you said, unless us humans are so incompetent that we cannot detect murders in our own houses, I don't think we'll be finding ghosts anytime soon. The unless sentence structure is, I think, fairly underused. So it was a very interesting sentence. And Selena, I heard you say the word of the day, yay, and I really liked your last sentence. I didn't catch it, but it was something like, it's a perfect story and a perfect cinematic movie. And I liked your repetition of the word perfect. For Jacob, I didn't catch anything, and for Amelia, I didn't catch anything. For Hillary, I liked your opening when you talked about how dogs were on one hand and how cats were on the other hand. And for Devin, I didn't catch anything. Andrew, I liked that you used a lot of very scientific vocabulary with words such as adhesive and cohesive, and good vocabulary for debating. For Anthony, Rachel, and Angelina, I didn't catch anything. For Michelle, I liked when you said, do you see ties defying gravity? It was just funny. And for Eliana, I did not see anything. And for Michelle, in your role as general evaluator, I also did not catch anything. But Devin, as evaluator, I loved your formal tone throughout and your use of varied vocabulary. And just one small instance of awkward grammar when you said, add some hand gestures, no matter big or small ones, which I think should be more like add some hand gestures, no matter if they're big or small. For Angelina, I didn't catch any awkward grammar, and I liked that your speech had good academic language throughout. And that is all. Overall, it was a pretty good meeting in terms of grammar. I would just love to see the word of the day used more often, if possible, in the future. And that's all. Back to you, General Evaluator Michelle.
Okay, thank you for the grammarian report. And now we will be having the timers report by Angelina.
Yeah, so thank you, Michelle. So I noticed that there were a few undertimes today, but that's okay because I know we have a lot of new guests here. So I'll start off with speech one. Eliana, your time was 4 minutes and 26 seconds. And I'm sorry if you got confused by the backgrounds because I was not looking at the time, but that is just slightly under time. So for Rachel's speech, I don't know the exact time, but it was somewhere around 4 minutes, 30 seconds, which is also a little under time, but I think your speech had a great message. So Howard had a table topics response of 55 seconds. Selena's was 2 minutes and 10 seconds, which is really good. Or I think this is your second response. And Jacob, you had a time of 1 minute, 12 seconds, which is just above 1 minute, which is good for your first time as well. So Amelia, you had a time of 55 seconds, so just a little more to 1 minute and it would have been good to go. Hillary had a time of 57 seconds. Devin had a time of 1 minute, 22 seconds. Andrew had a time of 1 minute, 20 seconds. Anthony had a time of 1 minute and 3 seconds. And Rachel had a time of 2 minutes and 9 seconds. I had a time of 1 minute and 12 seconds. Michelle had a time of 33 seconds, so that's a little under time, but you had a very humorous response. And Aliana's time was around 40 seconds. So I would say try and boost those table topics responses a little longer, but overall, good job. So Devin's speech evaluation was around 2 minutes and 30 seconds, which is right around the sweet spot. And my evaluation was around 2 minutes as well. Michelle, your counter report was around 1 minute 55 seconds. And Kara, yours was around 3 minute 50 seconds, but you gave a lot of good advice, so I would say that it's okay. Thank you, and back to you, Michelle.
All right, thank you, Angelina. And I will be now starting my report of the meeting or whatever. For the all counter meet, I'm sorry guys, I was zooming out of my sheets and I'm like blinder than a naked mole rat. For grammarian, no, wait, what? Grammarian Kara, I've heard like a few pauses, maybe just a little bit, and I think you mentioned some good points. And for timer Angelina, I just don't have no comments, other than it was a very good timers report. For Eliana's speech. I think it's like very well structured, but like I feel like there could have been more vocal variety. I also need to work on that, but like if it's like maybe like a very dramatic moment, your voice gets low and slow. And if it's like something with high energy, then your voice gets really high pitched, which I'm not gonna do or I'm gonna break my mic. For Rachel's speech, I've it's like very realistic and had a clear message, which is good, and that's basically all. That I don't know, I was like kind of dying on the inside. For Devin's evaluation, I think you could have used more vocal variety and also hand gestures if you could. But other than that, it was a very formal evaluation, and it's like, oh, I'm using crutches, but it was very informational, and I'm sure that will benefit Eliana. And for Angelina, I was low key on the all counters report trying to figure out how to add more graphs. I'm like, oh wait, you can just scroll down and get more lines or whatever on the sheets. I don't even know how to use it. So I kind of zoned out. I'm sorry, Angelina, but I'm sure it was great. And for the journal meeting notes, the table topics was fire, guys. No objections. Okay, and that is my general's evaluator report. Yep. So now I'll be handing control over to our vice president, Angelina.
So thank you, Michelle, and thank you to all of you who participated today as well. I really enjoyed seeing your new faces and getting to know the new members more. And overall, today was a great meeting as well. because both of the speeches were great and also the table topics questions were very fun and entertaining. So before we officially adjourn the meeting, does anyone have any questions, comments, or feedback about the meeting tonight? And if you do, you can just open your mic and share your thoughts. All right, well, if there are no comments or questions, then at 7:56 Pacific time, I will officially adjourn this meeting. So thank you everyone for coming today, and see you all next Wednesday, and have a great rest of your week.
Thank you. Bye.
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 Bye.